Hey guys, this is Miko from ML Sound Lab, and I'm super happy to announce a new amp pack called Mars Collection. This amp pack comes with 3 amplifiers, and now we're gonna check it out with the Fractal Audio XFX 3. Okay, so if you've seen any of my videos or followed my channel or anything, you've probably seen that I have some pretty cool amplifiers in here, and I've kind of saved all the Marshall amplifiers for this pack. So all of these amplifiers, 3 of them, are based on a Marshall vintage tube head and 100 watt. So the first one is called Plexi, and that's based on my 71 Super Lead 100 watt version of that, fully original. So this is the original spec of a Plexi amplifier, and this is what it sounds like on the Fractal XFX 3. And that's a recognizable sound for sure. The cool thing about the Plexi, so to say, is that although it kind of is a one-trick pony, you do have the 2 volume controls, and you can jump the amplifier, meaning that if you have more of the volume 1, you get more brightness. If you have more of the volume 2, you get more fatness. And this amp pack comes with different variations of that, along with some different EQ settings. So you essentially have all the versatility of this amplifier. But one thing to note is that the amp itself, being a vintage amp, does not have a clean channel. So it's a very touch sensitive amplifier, meaning that you get the clean sound when you roll off the volume. So for and with the full volume I get full on rhythm sounds. So it's very dynamic and touch sensitive, and this is where you'll kind of see what these modelers are capable of, because this is, in my opinion, the most difficult thing to model. It's not so much is it clean or driven sounds, but I feel like the way a power amplifier responds to your playing is something where I feel like some modelers are really lacking. This was the Plexi, and the next amplifier in this pack is the 2203, and that's obviously based on the JMP 2203, which eventually became the JCM 800, but essentially this is kind of an early model, so some people say it's in between a Plexi and a JCM 800. Personally, I feel like it's kind of like a JCM 800, but the gain is sort of more in the power section, so to say. So once again, that's very recognizable, something that people used a lot in the 80s, for example, for most of the iconic albums out there. And one cool thing here is that this EQ stage and drive stage is very different to the Plexi, although tonally they might have some similarities. You can actually scoop the amplifier quite a bit, so I also included some scooped amp settings here, which maybe give you more of that 80s sound, so to say. So this is what it sounds like. So that's kind of the maximum gain you can get out of a 2203. And the 2203 actually does have kind of a more of a cleaner setting as well, but once again with these amplifiers, when you have the volume at a kind of acceptable level, it starts to drive up a little bit. So even the cleanest setting here, once again, even the cleanest setting kind of is not your pristine clean. That brings me to the silver. So the Mars Silver is actually a pack that we've already released, and if you've already purchased the Mars Silver pack, you will get this as a free update. So this may be a cool piece of information for you. So the Silver actually has a clean channel, a rhythm channel, and a lead channel. So as far as gain stages go, it has the most versatility to it. As far as tone goes, it's the fattest one out of all of these amplifiers, and in that sense it doesn't have that traditional kerrang or cut, but it's more of a really cool lead sound. So let's kind of go through the sound. So this is the pristine clean that you can get out of the Silver. And the more driven sounds are kind of in that 2203 territory, but it's a lot fatter sounding. So it's kind of a darker but fatter, more pleasant sound, but not so cutting. Sounds like this. And what's cool about the Mars Silver is that it also has the lead channel to it, meaning that it has more gain that you probably need. But with these British amplifiers, you'll know that when you get more gain, it doesn't really get that kind of a high gain metal sound, but you only get more sustain. And this is kind of the Joe Bonamassa type sound that he loves to use. And this is actually the amplifier that Joe uses the most. So this is kind of a recognizable sound. And that's a quick run through of all the 3 amplifiers that come with the Mars collection and pack. Obviously there are more presets in here, 27 altogether, and you also get 3 sample cabinets. You kind of have a modern, a really vintage, and somewhere in between option here to use and play around with. So altogether 3 times 27 is 81 different tones that you can get out of this pack. If you have any further questions, go to the ML store and read more about it. I think you're gonna love this pack, and go check it out and go get it now. Cheers guys.